Awesome.
Hey class, this is Christina here. These are my audience members. We even have a special guest. Woot. Alright, so my speech today is going to be on living with anxiety. Exactly what is anxiety? Well, it's best to ask questions about it because you can't quite describe it. So have you ever felt nervous before a big event, like a huge important interview, or even going to the first day of classes, and also giving a speech? Okay, well, with those nervousness, do you ever have worst case scenario thoughts? You're always thinking, oh my gosh, is my zipper undone? Did I do my hair right? I mean, do I have pieces of hair sticking out? Those different thoughts, those worst case scenario thoughts, over and over and over, and they just don't seem to go away. Have those thoughts ever stopped you from doing something? Going to work, leaving the house, getting out of bed. All of those things are what anxiety are. Every type of anxiety is different for each person. Everyone has their own symptoms. Being diagnosed years after actually having anxiety was probably one of the worst situations I've been in. Not knowing why these negative thoughts kept going on. Not knowing why I would have these random panic attacks for just going to work. I didn't understand why until just a few years ago. As an adult, you get more stress in your life. More stress than, oh my gosh, is he my boyfriend? Those types of things are anxiety. So today in my speech, I'm going to cover the different anxiety disorders. Yes, there are more than one. The causes of the anxiety itself, the physical and emotional symptoms of each anxiety disorder, and also the options for coping with the anxiety disorder, because the anxiety never goes away. You become accustomed to it. You learn to deal with it. Everyone has their own type of method. So the types of anxiety are generalized anxiety disorder, which is just the constant thought and the constant worry of everything. These repetitive thoughts just won't stop. The other type of anxiety disorder is a panic disorder. It's also known as panic attacks. This is where the repetitive thoughts that you have actually turn to make you not be able to do what you were going to do. For instance, like I said, going to work, or even leaving the house. You can't, it just won't let you. And then once you have a panic attack, a place that you've had a previous panic attack just stops you from going there again. You try to avoid it. The next one is obsessive compulsive disorder. It's also known as OCD. It's very, very common, but most people don't realize that obsessive compulsive disorder is more than counting things a certain amount of times or washing your hands over and over. The obsessive compulsive disorder is those unwanted thoughts, those fears that won't stop. Again, it's very similar to generalized anxiety disorder, but it's got the repetitiveness to it. Next one is phobias. Of course, you have the most common fear of objects, of places, activities, situations that you've been put in before. Most people are used to hearing arachnophobia, which is the fear of spiders, and also acrophobia, which is the fear of heights. That's, again, another common phobia. Then we have social anxiety disorder. A lot of people are used to hearing it as performance anxiety or stage fright. That is the most common social anxiety disorder. This is where you don't want to be judged, or you have the fear of being judged by your peers, by others. You're also afraid of humiliating yourself, like giving a speech and stumbling on words. Another anxiety disorder is post-traumatic stress disorder. Most people don't associate this with anxiety, they just call it a mental problem. Someone who's been to war or who had a really tough childhood growing up. This would be a perfect example for post-traumatic stress disorder. So knowing the different types of anxiety helps you find the different causes. Some are environmental. For instance, if you're up too high and you have less oxygen, that's environmental. Again, the post-traumatic stress disorder, it could be something that you've dealt with as a child, or losing somebody in your family. Those are all environmental factors. The next one is medical factors. Medical factors include side effects from medicine. It also includes side effects from diseases like asthma. And if you have, again, lack of oxygen, but due to the medical condition, of course, that's your medical factor. It's also known that if it runs in your family, more than likely you're going to get it. So if both your mom and dad have it, you probably have it too. With your brain chemistry, every now and then, sometimes our brains are wired different. Some brains will tell them to overreact in situations. If you're afraid of something, it's going to tell you to be even more afraid of something. And then also last, we have the different causes of anxiety is drug use. So if you've ever used any type of drugs, or if you've used cocaine or heroin, sometimes even withdrawals from those can affect you and can have anxiety, cause you to have anxiety. Now, knowing the different types of anxiety as well as the different causes will help you discover what symptoms are related to each one. Once you find the system, you can better help yourself to overcome these, to deal with these better. The symptoms of general anxiety disorder show up in physical symptoms: restlessness, blank minds, irritability, very, very common in most people. This is when life gets too stressed. You start to get stressed. It causes anxiety. For the next one, with panic attacks, again, this shows up in sudden repetitive attacks that are of intense fear. And then once you have attack, you continue to have more fear of having repetitive attacks. You tend to avoid places that you've been before. That causes you, just the thought of being in that same place, to have another panic attack. Other symptoms of anxiety disorders for OCD, again, it's the unwanted thoughts. It seems impossible to stop. Then in the phobia, it's the unrealistic fears, again with the arachnophobia and fear of heights. They just won't go away. With the symptoms of the social anxiety disorder, being highly anxious around a group of people, not wanting to go in publicly populated places, in high population places. And then for the post-traumatic disorder, again, it's with flashbacks and nightmares, and also avoiding the situation that put you there in the first place. So with the symptoms, knowing the disorders, this will allow you to look into different therapy options. My therapy option is cooking. Cooking helps calm my mind. Deep breaths help calm my mind. It gets my thoughts in order. It doesn't stop them, but it slows them. Different therapy options are cognitive behavior therapy, which is teaching your brain a different way to focus, a different way to react to the situation. The other therapy option is exposure. So if someone's afraid of being in public places, it pretty much forces them to be in a public place, to confront those fears head on. A lot of people that don't like roller coasters, a lot of people that don't like heights go on roller coasters. It's exposure therapy. And then also we have the self-help, so doing your own personal research, reaching out to family members, also going to a doctor as well. That would be type of self-help. If for some reason you can't get your self-help, you can always do group support or even stress management techniques. Both of those are really good options as well. The last option that I recommend is medication. The reason I don't recommend medication is because even though it does help prevent symptoms of the anxiety, it alters your mood. So you can't have your really low lows or your really bad fears, but you also can't have your really high highs. It takes part of your personality away to where you can't be who you really were. You don't get excited about a whole lot of things because it keeps you on a very straight, even thing. Well, to be effective, you have to take it daily. So it ends up reducing the side effects, but unfortunately, you end up losing who you are on a daily basis. The last one for the side effect of anxiety medicine, anti-anxiety medicine, is depression. If you're already having irrational thoughts and fears, you don't want to add depression on top of that. It's one of the most dangerous things because you have to take another medication daily for that depression. So pretty much in conclusion, what I'm trying to get a point across is, even though you're living with anxiety, you can do this. You can beat this. Your thoughts are not who you are. You are stronger than your thoughts. Reaching out to family members, even to a physician or psychologist, friends, Everyone can count. Just know that you're not alone, because you can do this. You can beat this. It won't go away, but you can find your therapy. You can manage this. And that's it.